My guest now is Roger Alton, a former editor of The Observer and The Independent, for some immediate reaction to that announcement. So, Mr. Alton, thank you so much for joining us on TRT World. What do you make of Theresa May clinging to power?
Well,
did you expect that?
Yeah, because I didn't think she was going to go. She got 42.5% of the vote, which is the highest share of the vote for any Conservative government since 1983, Mrs Thatcher. So she got a legitimacy. But clearly she said, I want a strong mandate for Brexit. Give me a strong mandate for Brexit. It was an election you didn't need. She's in a very fragile state.
What do you make of her attempts to form a coalition government with the DUP? For an international audience, tell us what that means.
Well, the DUP is a very small unionist stroke Protestant section of Northern Ireland, who normally don't really matter very much in Britain. They're not particularly nice people, in my view, and they're tremendously keen on money and getting a lot of money into Northern Ireland. So we're going to see a lot of extremely good motorways playing across Northern Ireland and some high development in Belfast.
And let me ask you about Theresa May. She wanted to strengthen her hand, to strengthen her party and go on till, well, for another 5 years. She thought, like an opportunist, she thought, this is the moment. I'm going to get another 60, maybe 100 seats from the Labour Party. She really made a blunder here. She really made
a blunder. She was led into things, I think her advisors misled her. I think the scale of the sort of disaffection from the public of having to do another election when you just had a referendum a year ago and another election the year before that. You know, and there was a woman called Brenda, the day the election was announced, who was on television saying, oh no, not another one. And I think a lot of people share that view. And then at the same time, you've got a lot of young people who I think were very cross about the referendum vote, and they felt like getting their own back. Very high turnout, I think 72.5% by the young, very, very high. And
that's a very good point, actually, that is now just emerging this morning, that the young people were taking their revenge on the establishment.
They take it that I think they felt they'd been excluded out of the referendum vote.
Well, they excluded themselves, didn't they?
They excluded themselves by staying in bed. Yes. Now they've decided to get up and vote, and they voted, and they've said to Mrs May, we don't like it. And I think Brexit is in real trouble now.
Right. Had they actually got out of bed and turned up for the referendum, perhaps we would have been in the European Union, and what they've done is created an antidote that might be worse. So they've actually weakened Britain's hand at the negotiating table.
Britain doesn't really have a hand now at the negotiating table, and my personal hunch is that something is going to develop almost sort of anti-Brexit. There'll be some kind of level of rowing back. You're going off to negotiate now. If you're Mrs May's negotiators, what are you actually going to negotiate? Are you negotiating where do we stand on freedom of movement? Where do we stand on the single market? Nobody has a clue anymore. No, literally not a clue. I think it's a very, very, very fissile situation.
OK, perhaps our international viewers don't know how ruthless the Conservative Party is when their leader puts a foot wrong. Just what do you think the Tory party is going to do with Theresa May once they've established they're going to be the party of government? Are they going to take her down very, very quickly?
I think they don't want to be seen as murderous people, but clearly, having had before enemies in front of her negotiating Brexit, she's now got a whole heap of enemies behind her as well, wanting her blood. It's going to be a difficult situation. And I think she's looked exhausted in this campaign. She's handled it very badly. How she's going to cope now, I don't know. I think we could be in for trouble, and I think Brexit is going to be a big issue.
Mr. Alton, thank you very much for your analysis.
Pleasure.
We may come back to you in a moment, but for now,